Welcome back to the Pump Take Sports Show. We're doing more NBA talks today, specifically about the Toronto Raptors and how they've had a little bit of a season turnaround here a little bit later in the season. So, do you guys want to take it away on how, what are some of the reasons why we've turned it around a little bit compared to our very slow start?
Yeah, man. One of the big things that I've been really happy to see versus the beginning of the season is that everyone has just been involved on both ends of the floor. It was really highlighted in the game against Memphis when Lowry went out for most of the game with those back spasms, and we just got huge contributions from guys like Norman Powell, from guys like Van Vliet, Siakam. Those guys combined for over 90 points in that game. We also got contributions from guys like Slim Duck, who has looked excellent lately. He had 12 points and 10 boards. And then we have guys coming off the bench like Stanley Johnson and DeAndre Bembry, who are really starting to come into their own on the defensive end of the floor. So overall, it's starting to look a lot less like the Siakam, Lowry, Van Vliet show, and that we live and die through a few guys, and everyone is starting to just become involved as a cohesive unit again, which is just really great to see.
Yeah, I will admit that for our last Raptors video, I was kind of a bit more doom and gloom about them. I kind of thought that they might not be a playoff team, but we started to see like the classic Raptors effort and team play that's really allowed them to kind of like turn their season around. And even when some guys like OG and Kyle have been out, you've seen other guys step up, and you're getting a little bit more impact from some of the bench guys too. Like even like I guess we should mention Watanabe too. He's kind of done his part too, and everyone's kind of like been able to like pitch in a little bit for some of those wins. Like Norm has been fantastic off the bench, and obviously like our usual guys like Fred put up like a 54-point game the other night, and the huge breakout season for Chris Boucher, Slim Duck, has been absolutely pivotal for the Raptors, especially when we've been so shallow at the center position. He's been really important to our success in our recent past here.
And I think a big contribution to that, on top of Slim Duck fixing the defense, is that early in the season, when we were seeing our defense struggling so much, it was because we lost like probably two of our most impactful defensive players in Ibaka and Gasol. So we really just needed to just find the right combination in the rotation that's going to step up and just be able to just play our just sound defensive system. And I think we've really found that. One guy that I've been really impressed with so far is DeAndre Bembry, who started the second half for Lowry last game. He doesn't put up huge numbers, but in particular, Bembry and Stanley Johnson, for that matter, they both just play just great positional defense, and most importantly, they avoid mistakes. So while like what they do, it doesn't always show up in the box score, but on the defensive end of the floor, I think those two guys kind of becoming established in the rotation has really helped us.
Yeah, 100%. Bembry was the guy who I was going to call out first and foremost, because he's found a spot not only in the rotation, but a really, really, really important bench spot that when we need defense and when we need a guy to hold the ball so Fred can do a little bit more off-ball stuff, Bembry can handle that. And I honestly was in the boat of kind of sleeping on how kind of a sound player Bembry was on all fronts, rather than just kind of like a random, how there's just like guards in the NBA that are all kind of the same at that kind of just one level. Well, Bembry's kind of a step above that in the way that he's completely versatile as a player all the way around. And the other guy that I really think has been, he's always been good, but his recent play has really allowed us to seal up some really close games was Freddie. Fred lately has just been scoring at such a high velocity that it's almost like we haven't necessarily looked, in my opinion, that much a drastic as a team step better, but we're winning the games that we were losing when they were really close. Like those games where Siakam had back-to-back games where he took the final shot and the bounce didn't go our way. We've had some games lately that have been really close but we've had the scoring late in the game to kind of just pull ahead, where before we were kind of just falling behind, not really, taking the step to seal that victory. And it goes back to what Nick Nurse said. I think our record is a lot worse than how our actual team performs. And when Kyle's back at 100% and we get OG back, we'll be looking pretty good moving forward, I think, because we found a really nice rotation with guys like you were talking about, Bembry, Stan, all those guys.
I think another thing to mention too is the confidence turnaround that we've seen from Pascal. It's really like at the beginning of the season, like he was kind of, he had his game where he was benched. And when he was playing, he didn't really have that aggressiveness that we had seen from him in the past that allowed him to be such a max player for us, and deservedly so last year. But now you're starting to see him play with a little bit more confidence, aggressiveness. He's getting to the rim a little bit more. And he's just kind of like found his groove a lot, which has really helped, since he is our max player and one of our best players on the court. It's really important to see that. And as we've seen, it's kind of translated to a little bit more team success as well.
And
yeah, 100%, man. Go ahead, Kel. So it's all good.
One thing that I love that I've seen from Pascal too, and this kind of just comes with the boost in confidence that you were talking about, and I've mentioned this to you guys just as we're watching games, is I like that his decision making has just become a lot faster and just more definitive of what he's gonna do. Too many times earlier in the season when he was really struggling a lot, he would kind of just catch the ball just like on the perimeter or just in the like mid post, and he would sort of just stand there with it and like look around, and he wouldn't make a sudden aggressive decision about what he was going to do, if he was going to drive and take it to the rim or if he's going to pass it off. Now it seems like he has his game down to much more of a like interior attack downhill inside game instead of just messing around on the perimeter, because frankly that's just not his strength. He needs to be good enough to take some threes, but now he's attacking downhill aggressively, and then when the double comes, he kicks it back out, and I think that's making a huge difference for him.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing. You want him to always be a threat, right? You want him to always be available to shoot the three and have guys, not you don't want him to be a Draymond where like you give him like 20 meters of space. But two things about Pascal that I had a note about for this was, one thing you kind of already mentioned. It's his inside game becoming much more prevalent. In I can't remember who we were playing against, but he didn't shoot a three in like the whole game until the very end. And Jack Armstrong said, well, you can shoot that one because you deserved it, because I think 15 of his 18 shots were in the paint point shots. And then you had like a few little scattered mid ranges that he's just going to take. But that inside game and kind of stepping away a little bit from the three-pointer, which I think was a big problem with us early in the season. We were like the number one three-point shooting team in the NBA, which is silly because we don't have those kind of guys on our team, especially not Pascal isn't meant to be that kind of guy. And the second thing to note of that is that Pascal said in an offseason interview that in the unfortunate loss to the Celtics, where, his struggles were really apparent, is that he wasn't having fun anymore playing basketball. And he kind of lost that sense of love for the game, which was, when you lose love for whatever you're doing, you're just going to do it worse. You're not going to play with the same kind of passion and intensity. And in the last few games, you've seen, because of the inside scoring and because you see his shots falling for him finally, that he's having fun again. Like even that three that he hit when we were kind of really racking it up on, I think it was, Memphis last night. He hit a three and he kind of went back on he did the old shooting hand in the air, bounce back, and you could just tell the whole energy was fun. And that's really where we need Pascal to kind of be in that zone. Larry can play with all his seriousness, and Fred plays with all that intensity that we love from those guys and we need from those guys. But I think we want Pascal to be out there having fun more than bringing that kind of like usual star player intensity, because maybe that's just not the kind of guy that he is. Maybe that intensity isn't what fuels him to go out there and have the best game that he can. He would just rather go out there and do what he can and enjoy playing with his teammates. And in a weird way, maybe that works better for him.
Mm-hmm. And it's awesome to just see that contrast, like you mentioned now, of him just having fun out there versus when he really just frankly, like you looked at his body language and it was sort of epitomized when he got benched. And he like left the floor early in that one game and everybody got all up in arms and started ripping on him. That he's really just starting to to just get his mojo back. And just as a Raptors fan, you love to see it because frankly, everybody was being so hard on Siakam, and we're not completely innocent of that either, because as a fan that loves the team so much, it was hard to see him playing that poorly and with that type of energy. But yeah, it's just great to see that he's just turning it around despite all of that criticism and struggles early on.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're all happy here to see the Raptors kind of turning it around. There's some more really important games coming up for the Raps. Hopefully they can seal those ones up. There's one tomorrow. Well, I guess it won't be tomorrow by the time this is uploaded, but
yeah,
there's lots of Raps games
Wizards.
all the time. And hopefully we beat the Wizards, because this won't be probably up by the time we play the Wizards. So hopefully we beat the Wizards, to the future guys talking on the Pump Take show for future NBA stuff. But thank you guys very much for watching. We'll be back with more NBA stuff. Check out our rookie video. That one will be out before this one, where we talk about some rookies. Not Malachi Flynn, actually, because he's in the G League now, but maybe he's better off there for the time being.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.
Hey, guys.